recommendations, this board has determined that the request by Pylon for a progress payment in the amount of $46,264.53 should be approved. And it's going to make it payable before, okay, in accordance with the contract, this payment to Pylon Construction may be payable before grant funds are received for USD, requiring the town to advance the funds to WIBA number 1. The town board authorizes that these advances to WIBA number 1, that the town board authorizes that we will advance monies to WIBA number 1 until grant money funds are received. Now, in the meantime, we have received some reimbursement of those grant funds because the government is back open, but Attorney Olson felt it important to just leave that in place in case the government decides to close again. At least this, gives us a way out in case for some reason we don't get this payment. And in that event, we will be charged interest. So be resolved, the town board authorizes the payment of the $46,264.53. That the funds be advanced from the general fund and that we would receive interest the same as what we would get from our New York class deposits in the event that we do not get paid from the government. So that's the resolution. May I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I will second that.
Any discussion or comments from the board? None? We're good? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, number 3 is another matter for the water line. Water Improvement Benefit Area number 1, net interest. Whereas the Town of Clarkson Town Board here and after referred to as the Town Board is installing water main for Water Improvement Benefit Area number 1, and the town received funding from the USDA in the form of a grant and loan. The USDA has issued a letter of conditions for the Town of Clarkson. The town also borrowed funds from Greene County Commercial Bank to cover expenses for the loan portion of the project. And whereas the net interest amount was initially projected to be $150,000, however, the final net interest amount due to Greene County Commercial Bank for the interim financing was $160,811.81. And now therefore be resolved that the town board accepts and approves that $10,811.81 be moved from the project contingency to the net interest budget. The total project costs will not change. May I have a motion?
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
Okay, comments from the board. I guess that's me. This is what's required by MRB. We need to submit this form. We need a resolution for this to move monies within the funds. So as it says, the total project cost will not change. It's just approving the additional interest on the budget. A vote then, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you. Number 4 is we need a motion to schedule the 2026 organizational meeting. That motion to schedule the meeting for Tuesday, January 6th at Tuesday, January 6th, 2026 at 6 p.m.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay. I believe that's also needs to be posted in the paper. Is that correct? Our organizational meeting? Or part of our whole schedule?
Yes.
The whole schedule has to go in the paper, right, for the year?
Yep.
Got it. I'm sure Susan's on that. But I will check. Carla, can you make a note of that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, number 5. We're skipping number 5. We were hoping to have that in place today. We were waiting for information from our engineers MRB, but we did not receive that today. So we'll address that at the next meeting. Number 6, request for qualifications for the New York State DOT TAP grant application. The Town of Clarkson seeks to procure grant writing and engineering services associated with the proposed pedestrian sidewalk projects along New York State Route 19. also known as project. We have more than one project unless we lump them. We have 3 separate sidewalks that we want to install. I'm not sure if that's going to go into one project or if it needs to be separated out into 3. I don't know that yet. Whereas the town of Clarkson identified a source of funding under the New York State DOT Transportation Alternatives Program, or TAP, which requires such services for the project. And whereas the engineering firm currently used by the town of Clarkson for related services has prepared a request for qualifications, an RFQ, that can be used to solicit the services in a manner that New York State and/or federal funding programs require. Be it resolved as follows, that the town board of the town of Clarkson does hereby authorize the town supervisor to work with the town clerk to proceed with the RFQ services, and that the town clerk is ordered to publish the RFQ on the town of Clarkson website, the New York State Contract Reporter, and the town designated local newspaper.
Make a motion that we authorize supervisor to proceed with the RFQ. I'll second it.
Discussion or debate. And okay, I have more information about this in my supervisor's report. I will fill you in a little bit more. So we'll just do a vote on this for now. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, number 7. Authorize supervisor to sign New York State plan for cyclical reassessments form to receive New York State aid. Okay, I have to say that I had to write it out phonetically, or else I knew I would mess it up. Cyclical. Whereas the New York State provides financial aid to municipalities that reassess at 100% of the market value on a cyclical basis to the extent such funding is available. And whereas to be eligible for the state aid for cyclical reassessments, the town of Clarkson is required to submit a plan for future reassessments that includes reassessments at 100% of market value and implemented pursuant to an approved plan with a minimum 4-year interval. And whereas the town assessor proposes to apply for state aid for cyclical reassessments and submit a 4-year cyclical reassessment plan, with 2026 being the first year of the plan. And whereas the town board has determined that cyclical reassessment at 100% of market value is in the best interest of the town of Clarkson and its further development. Therefore, there is no therefore. Be it resolved as follows. Town board adopts the attached cyclical reassessment plan for the town of Clarkson, authorizing town supervisor and assessor for the towns of Clarkson to sign the RP 1573 ACRP on the town's behalf, and that the town supervisor and town assessor are hereby authorized to apply for and accept, if awarded, state aid for cyclical assessments from the New York State Department of Taxation Office of Real Property Tax Services. Okay, sorry. Yikes. Tammy Baker, oh, sorry. Let's make a motion first, then I'll talk. Okay.
I'll make that motion.
You don't want to repeat it? No? Okay.
I'll second that.
All right.
I'm not repeating it.
You're not repeating it either? Darn. All together now, cyclical. Okay, for discussion, Tammy Baker, our assessor, stepped in this morning. She attended an assessor's meeting last week, and this was brought to her attention that this money was being made available to any towns that were reassessing. We'd already decided at a previous meeting that we were going to reassess it. It's to the this year. It's the last time we had an assessment was in 2023. It's to the benefit of our town that we do so. Tammy can explain that further, and we'll do so. She already did, and she wrote on it about it in our newsletter. But she will have a meeting with us earlier in the year. In any event, this is help me to remember my email that I sent out to town board. In order to, we have to file this and sign it. And I have to sign it. She has to sign it. We sent it into New York State. We get a back. The state will provide like $3 or $5 per parcel based on this. So if we've got 22,590 parcels in town, if we got $3 per parcel, that comes to $7,700 or something if I did the math earlier. So that's just a check that we'll get. It's just it's just a little benefit that goes into our general fund as it's something you can plan for. It's not something you can budget for. It's just something that the state has made available to us in this next year and over the next 4 years too, right? So long as we stay at 100%. Is that how you understand it, Keith?
You have to commit to the reassessment. And if you don't spend the money on the reassessment, then they get very unhappy and take it back.
So we have to make sure that we spend $3 per parcel on this reassessment? Is that the idea?
Actually, I don't think that's how they do it. I think the cost of the reassessment is likely to be higher than what they're going to provide in the.
I would imagine it probably is, but that's what they're offering back to us is this per parcel dollar figure, which is an undetermined amount, but Tammy says it's generally $3 to $5. So anyway, it's a good thing, right? It's not
Is
a
that
bad
every
thing.
4 years then, the reassessment?
Minimally.
Right. For how
Minimum.
many years
Right.
doesn't it say?
Well, this is for 4 years. So she figures once we bring it to assessment at 100%, it should remain at 100% for 2 years, which is going to, for the next 2 years. And then what happens after that, I'm not sure.
See
So-
what you drop, I guess.
I'm sorry?
See what your equalization rate drops. It could go to 92, 94.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's take it for this year for sure, right? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Okay. Cyclical. Okay, number 8. Purchase of workers' compensation insurance coverage through Work Comp Alliance for the years 26 and 20 through 4 years 26 through 27. Whereas the town receives workers' compensation insurance coverage through Work Comp Alliance, which will expire at the end of 2025. And whereas the town's insurance advisor has recommended extending such insurance coverage for a 2-year period to enjoy a rate guarantee at a lower cost than renewing coverage for 1 year. Be it resolved as follows, that the town board of the town of Clarkson has decided to purchase workers' compensation insurance coverage through the insurance pool known as New York State Workers' Compensation Alliance with a rate guarantee for the years 26 and 27. That the supervisor is authorized to execute the member participation agreements with Work Comp Alliance for the years 26 and 27. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, that's good. Discussion. I spoke with our insurance representative, Brian Beatty, who's works with Hannafin Hoffman. He's been our insurance agent for years. He let me know that the first option for the standard 1-year renewal was $37,290 as an annual premium. The second option is for a 2-year guaranteed renewal of the same $37,290. The town's expiring annual premium right now is $40,722. So the renewal saves the town $3,400. So we're already saving money, and it was his recommendation that we save it for 2 years in a row. So we have it fixed for 2 years. So he recommended that the town accept the 2-year rate option. He sent us the paperwork, and his timing was good because we're, handling it tonight. So, any other questions from the board on that? No? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay. Number 9 is resolution. Oh, it's very simple. To approve the amended 2025 holiday schedule.
Motion to approve the amended 2025 holiday schedule.
I'll second that.
Okay, just to explain that, we had a schedule in place at the beginning of the year. There were 2 half days in the middle of December that caused a scheduling issue with some of our employees, and so after discussing it with the employees and the department heads, it made better sense to combine those 2 half days into 1 full day giving Christmas Eve day a full day off as opposed to a random other half day in the month of December. So that's what we've amended it to, is just to eliminate the 2 half days and create 1 full half day. So, all in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Number 10 is to approve the November financial report. I assume you've all received a copy of that. And as I mentioned earlier, the financial report is the executive summary is on the counter if you wish to pick up a copy and take a look at that. Is there a motion to approve the financial report? Okay. Any other comments or questions from the board on this? None? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay. Okay. Report time. I'm going to discuss a little more about the TAP grant that I mentioned earlier. We're pursuing this, it's called Transportation Alternatives Program Grant. And on December 4th, I watched a mandatory webinar regarding the program. They are very strict in what their expectations of us following through New York State is. It's like you had to sign into this 3.5 hour webinar that I had to watch. But okay, so I did. So the key details of this grant is the funding is $97.4 million is available statewide. The purpose is to fund active transportation, community revitalization, and environmental goals through projects like sidewalks, bike lanes, trails, etc. The federal share is that the New York State DOT provides up to 80% of eligible project costs, and the sponsors, or us, provides at least 20%. The grant range, the awards typically range from $500,000 to $7 million. I want to be $7 million. The pre-application deadline is January 15th, 2026. The application deadline itself is 3/12/26. We approved the request for qualifications earlier tonight, and we will arrange the same to be published in the paper by 12/12/25 and wait for applications for engineers to be received by January 5th, 2026. The engineer chosen will then prepare the pre-application by January 15th and the full application by March 12th, 2026. So part of the organizational meeting that night, we're going to have to approve the engineer based on the applications that come in. That's just going to be part of that evening because we have to move it along because our timetable is so tight. So I'm just giving you a heads up on that. Okay. In the morning of December 5th, I greeted the Monroe County Town Clerks Association ahead of their December meeting. Sue Henshaw was the host for that. We had that at the, or she hosted that at the courthouse. All of the town clerks in the different towns take turns throughout the year hosting the events. This was Susan's turn. I let them know how important the town clerk's office job is to residents, the town board, and the supervisor's office, and I greatly appreciate the work that Susan and Carla do for our town. In the evening of December 5th, the 18th annual Christmas party was held at Whitehall Mansion. Susan and Carla did an amazing job to pull the event together. About 60 kids and 100 adults were in attendance. Thanks also to the historian Leanna Hale and Santa and Mrs. Claus for who play an important part of this event. And the Wood family is always so gracious to us, and we appreciate being able to use their venue. On December 9th, the WIBA, that was just today, wasn't it? This morning. That happened today. We had a WIBA update meeting. It's every 2 weeks. All water services will be on by the end of this week, including Sweden Walker Road. That was the last one. The holdup for that one was because of gas leak. which they put the service in anyway without, we're not certain what the status of is, but they went ahead and hooked up that service. So the water should be on by the end of the week. A handful of other services still need to be done. There's some, like if you're on this side of the road, they have to cross the road and drill through the road to get to the other side. And the drill doesn't work real well when it's below 20 degrees. So they still have a little bit of work to do, but there's just a handful of services on random roads. MRB will be issuing a certificate of substantial completion soon, which will trigger the start date of the 1-year warranty per the contract. In the next 2 weeks, the contractors will finish the miscellaneous services and focus on cleanup. And along with that substantial completion, Scott Madison, who's in charge of this project, will give the town board a summary of what happens in this next year and when the monies will be set out at what stages, to actually complete the project and the work that still needs to be done. So they've got a handle on it. We'll just wait to get it from them. So that is my report. Town board. We were going to discuss, does anyone have a separate report before we get into the historical commission? Anything, Tom? Nothing? Last chance, John.
Good.
Come on. Nick? Oh, well, you're still up. Okay. Earlier this year, Nick, as part of being on town board, he's also been heavily involved with the Historical Preservation Commission. Did I say that right?
Mhm.
Okay. And he presented two options earlier this year for what the commission would like to do going forward. And bringing it to the town board now because it's, he is done as town board, but he will still, as I understand, will continue to be working with the Historical Preservation Commission. And so do you want to just talk about these two options that you brought before us?
Yeah, we have two essential options for the Historic Preservation Commission. We're fortunate enough in Clarkson to be recognized the National Register of Historic Places in our overlay district, which is very large. It's a very prestigious thing. We were designated in 1994. The Preservation Commission has designated 2 local properties so far in its existence in a little over a year. It's really exciting stuff. The benefits to our residents are astounding. Tax credits for business in the district if designated, tax credits for homeowners, any improvements externally on the home, up to, I think 20 to 50%, some of these rebates in the thousands of dollars range. So it's a really great benefit we have this room. But one of the things of being a certified local government is that you submit a report every year. We just submitted our report last week. So we submitted that. The other thing that they ask is that you're continuously improving the area or providing resources. So our last cultural resource survey, which is required to become registered, was in 1987. That's kind of old. It was a really robust survey, though, so it just needs some update. The point of doing a cultural resource survey is if you're trying to go national. Since we already have that, we don't need that to go national. But that is an option we can do. So there's 2 options we kind of laid out before the board. One of which is to do a full-blown, hire a firm, do a professionally cultural resource survey to read off all the research. That can range from $9,000 to $12,000. Or the other option is you try to do it locally. We have some goals like putting things on the website, a virtual walking tour. Those are things a firm wouldn't do. They would give us the historical research and then say, okay, now you have to go do those things. The board's recommendation was that we try to do that just locally for much less money, maybe in like the $3,000 to $4,500, $5,000 range. Compensate board members for the extra time and historical research preservation they have to do, or bring in like an extra historian from a local university, something of that nature. But basically, and then the board has the capacity to create those things online. Involving that would maybe be the preservation of some markers as well and getting some new markers. Those are kind of the 2 plans. We don't need to do either plan per se in the new year, but those are 2 things that the Historic Commission is looking to do.
Okay. I don't know I'm not sure what do you wish that we choose one of those?
Yeah, so the town board would be the ones that I think would make that decision, because the commission has no power to say. They could say, hey, we'd like to do this one, but town board supervisor would choose one of the plans. I don't think that decision would be made tonight by any means. I think there's plenty of time on that for you guys to decide.
So with your recommendation, which of the two is the board leaning towards?
The more what?
Which one of the two is the board leaning towards?
The historic commission, they would prefer to do it locally and not hire a firm, just because we'd be and speaking to some people at the State Historic Preservation Office, when I described our situation, they said, and they've seen our survey, they're like, you have a very robust survey. You're already nationally registered. You're not looking to designate new properties. What you're looking to do is really dig into the meat of the research and inform the public for educational materials. They're like, if that's the case and you have people on your board or in your community that can do that, either ask them to volunteer or compensate them. So I would say that's the end with the State Historic Preservation Office, and our board is kind of favoring that one. How this board wants to compensate anybody is up to them, right? You could set aside some funds to do that, or you could say, Preservation Commission, we prefer you do this volunteer. So that really is kind of if you choose to do it locally, you have the option of compensating people who do it locally, or saying we were going to ask that you volunteer. And I think the commission would do either one. Okay.
When would you start this?
This could be started as early as January of next year.
Do you actually have a starting point? I mean, would you say, if we say,
For an action plan.
yeah, I mean, have
Action
you
plan
already
would
tried
be-
that?
Yeah, action plan would be gathering photographs of the current, like updating the photographs would be first. Next would be digging into census data, local property, things from the building department, as well as local historical records, creating a narrative of the town, updating that narrative, and then with each address individually, garnering that research into an online webpage. And then I would probably recommend we finish with the walking tour via Google.
What's the time frame that you think this would take?
To update the resource survey and to get it onto the website, you're probably looking at 4 to 6 months of work. But most of those projects could be completed on next year. The markers, depends on where you want to go. The markers, if you sprinkle those throughout, that would slow things down. But I think to do the full photographs, historical update, cataloging onto the website, 4 to 6 months would be my guesstimate.
Okay, so what I'm gonna suggest is if we, and I don't know, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out how to go forward with this, right?
Yep.
But if the town board says, okay, good, option B sounds reasonable,
Local.
right?
Yep.
I mean,
I agree.
do you want a resolution to that effect? Or, I mean, is that, we're just gonna give you the go-ahead to let the commission know? And
Yeah.
maybe the commission could present to us then at some town board meeting what their plan, what their,
I think the wisest next steps would be for the town board to say, I don't think it needs a resolution, for the town board just to say, we like option B. We're willing to set this money aside, and we're going to ask you to volunteer in light of a presentation to the board of this process of action plan. We could get something more formal together.
I don't know how much money you're talking about, though, is the only thing. The money issue is kind of ambiguous, so.
Yeah, that's on the paper, I think, for the local funding, how much would,
Well, you've got the
the one that I sent.
cost to be determined by the town board.
Yeah.
You've got cost for the other one is 9,000 to 12,000.
Oh, okay, so I didn't list it.
Yeah, you didn't list it, so I'm
The
not
town
really
board can
clear on that.
The town board can decide, we would be doing work that I would suggest personally at less than half of the 9,000. So like I allocate maybe $35,000 to $4,000 of that. Or, that really is truly, when you do it locally like this, you see what this kind of project costs, 9 to 12, and it's really up to you to make that decision for how much you want to allocate to compensate either the historic commission members doing that extra work or bringing somebody else in to do that kind of work.
But is it based on time spent?
So we based on time spent. Yeah, you would want to have them log hours, things like that. Typically hourly rate, that might be on that sheet. I don't remember. It's between $24 to $44.
It's not.
Wide
That's
range.
why
Yeah, it's typically 24.
I'm curious what you've
$44.
talked
An
about. How much?
An hour. 24
like,
to 44 is a wide range.
okay. Do you have any advice on the path forward for this or no?
Perhaps a letter agreement, something that the board can embrace, specifying the terms as to hourly rates or total hours committed or something to that effect.
Okay. So you're kicking it to us to put something together, the town board.
Yeah, I could draft something together too on that. I thought I had done that. It's not in that document.
No, it's not, and
like
it's
you
not in your emails either that that we went back and found, so,
So essentially a letter agreement that states a number, say $4,000, to perform X, Y, and Z, the punch list items,
right,
and then, a number of hours
Yeah,
to
that's
get there.
Yeah.
If you did 4,000 at $30, it's 130 hours.
And how much was it? $30 an hour.
Wouldn't we need a
Is that the
resolution?
appropriate thing?
I would
Yeah.
think so, yes.
To apply.
Expenditure of $4,000, yes.
Yeah.
along with like right now?
Not to exceed, no.
No, at the time
Not to exceed
right, not to
4,000.
exceed.
I would think,
Yeah, okay,
And
that
I'll
works.
draft all this before I'm done.
Thank you, Nick.
Okay. Very nice. What's next? Oh, town clerk. Town clerk does not have a report, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Building department, that's me. Okay. You have the building department, they submitted a report. We've completed the onboarding process with SDL, which is their new permitting software, and they have been marked a success. Our department is still working on uploading frequently cited statutes to SDL for ease of documentation. The property file organization is still a work in progress, and we are now halfway through completion. All planning and zoning board members have collected their continuing education credit hours for 2025, except for one who's waiting to receive his certificate of attendance. There's one planning board application and one zoning board application in front of each of the boards. We are working on documents to send to the 2026 fire, for the 2026 fire inspections that are needed to be done. And MRB has been contacted about printing large maps for the zoning and the wetlands. There were 3 building permits issued in December, including 1 new house on Cintron Landing, and 5 permits were closed out this month. Okay, that's that. Attorney O'Toole?
I'm good.
Okay. Highway Superintendent?
Yeah, just a few things. I actually want to take my time and thank John and Nick for your dedication, not just to the residents, but the employees. I think we made great strides in the last 4 years, from healthcare to employee relations. And, that's something that's going to continue after you leave here. So you really left your mark. And I also learned a lot from both of you, from management things and different aspects. So it's been enjoyable. Thank you very much. So I'm sure Mike would feel the same way.
You guys really made a difference.
Yeah.
You did.
On behalf of the highway department, you really did.
See that, the guys in the highway.
Anything to report for highway?
No, we're good.
Okay. Same old, same old. Okay, we're good. Okay.
Tell those guys
I've
thank
learned my
you.
lesson. What's that?
Tell those guys thank you.
I will.
Okay, we're down to recognizing the council persons, John Colhane and Nick DeMuro. So you started it. That's good. Both of you. All right. So I have written down some notes. Start with Nick, unless you want your wife in here. Oh, there they are.
Come in, guys.
Hi. Come see Daddy. Are they going to sit or sit on Daddy's lap?
You guys want to sit in the chairs up front or?
Sure.
You can sit if you want.
Let's go. You want to sit with Dad or sit with
Oh, boy.
You can sit with You want to stay with mom?
All right. You guys ready? I'm going to talk about your daddy for just a minute. I first met Nick when I was an elections coordinator, and he was one of my scheduled election inspectors. He asked me if there were any open board positions at the town, and at that time there was an open town board seat. Nick ran for town board seat the following year in 2021. And there he is. Because of Nick's passion for history, he was instrumental in the town becoming a certified local government with designations at the state and federal levels. And this led to the creation of the Historic Preservation Commission by local law in 2023. And Nick says it's so much better, like he did earlier, his explanation of where we are and how fortunate we are to have had him in this position. He has been active with the commission, and Nick helped plan the Erie Canal celebration at San Souci Park, as well as hanging out with us for our Good Neighbor Days event. Nick plans to be a member in 2026 of that commission since Al Hoy has resigned as chairperson. So there is an opening. Nick was also an advocate for the veterans by scheduling those open meetings or open door meetings, open office meetings with veterans for a time. So that was, that was a huge step on your part to do that. So we appreciated that at the time. He was also been our live town board meeting guru on Facebook
It's working.
and YouTube. Is it working?
It's working.
All right, then.
It was a little snafu.
And we are grateful that he made that happen. He also introduced us to Tyler Jones, who maintains our Facebook page and our website. So those are the thoughts I have, aside from being just a great town board member. Appreciate all the work, the enthusiasm. So that's what I have. I don't know if anyone else on the town board wishes to add. Those are to that.
Yeah, I'd like to just, Nick and I had, I remember being in my office, Buffalo, and Nick and I were on the phone about an hour talking about, at the time, town leader for our committee here locally, and spent some time getting to know Nick. Saying coerce is a strong word, but trying, working with him and what we found out, we had a lot of common thoughts on, this is a town board, but politically, and outside of the norm, which are, we have. So, Nick agreed to join us. John, I didn't know prior to this, but I'm very fortunate to get to know both of them. And when these two joined the town board, I think, as Bob said, that's how collectively made an impact on the employees, on the town, and there's nothing better than a town that has employees that enjoy what they're doing, and I think I said this on my last day here in the town board, but when you're entrusting a group of young men with multi-ton snowplows, having them know that as a board we've got their back, and prior to Nick and John, it was a tough go, and I have no problem saying this in a public forum, but John and Nick helped at that time some of the things that I believed in, and it was great to have like-minded people to help. Again, it's all benefiting the employees, benefiting the town itself, and without John and Nick, we're not sure at that point where we would be at. So thank you for making the last 2 years of my town board experience. Great, and then this new intern, unfortunately won't be here for the next two. So, thank you both.
Thanks, Tom.
Same, thank you both.
Then there's John.
Frosty.
Frosty. John served on the planning board prior to being elected to the town board in 2021. How many years were you there on planning board? Just 2 years? Okay. And you just couldn't wait to get onto town board. He has been my deputy town supervisor for the past 2 years at the ready to fill my shoes if need be. John was also our resident spreadsheet guru. He developed the spreadsheet to keep track of our incentive zoning projects, including the solar farms, all those solar projects, because when I started, we were just kind of all over the place. Nothing was organized. So that was a huge help to our office. He was also a great help over the years working with the healthcare costs, again, and the employee-related matters. He introduced the color match study. What is that called? We couldn't come up.
Disc.
Oh, yes.
Right. So he did every employee except for me. Still haven't done it.
Time.
What was that?
There's
I
still
didn't know
time.
that. I didn't know you did it.
I didn't either.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that one.
Now you'll have lots of free time. Okay. He was instrumental in promoting and leading many all hands on deck employee meetings, resulting in the good relationship that all departments now share. I am hugely grateful. He has often highlighted the many accomplishments made by the employees to help best serve our residents. And that's kind of a twist in things, right? You know, they don't just work for us, but we need to acknowledge their accomplishments. Yeah. So every employee wants to be appreciated. So you did that. Is there anyone else who wants to add to John? Now's your chance.
I have loved working every minute with you. It's fun to come in and leave together.
So we want to thank them both. Anyone from the audience? Oh, you're just waiting, aren't you, Martha? Please.
I asked these two guys when they first visited the town board meetings out there, I said, what are you doing? And they said, we're here to serve the community. And I have to say, as I have reported back to the Clarkson Democratic Committee over and over again, they've been wonderful. And I appreciate all that you've said that they've done, because they have done all of that in a wonderful, affable, cooperative way.
Mhm.
And thanks from the entire community for all you've done.
So we want to thank them for your contributions to the town residents specifically, and the employees over the years, and you'll both be missed. Yeah.
Thank you both.
All right. Still have two more things on the agenda. Sorry, can't go yet. The minutes of November 25th. I need a motion to accept them.
I make a motion to accept the minutes of November 25th.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And I give this one to Jen, and you guys get this last one. Sharon, take a seat. A motion to pay the bills.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. This audit, oh, yeah, motion carries, right?
Yep.
Are we done?
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, wait, okay. The next audit, I just want to mention that this dollar amount that's here, 46,000 of it is the WIBA payment that we're making. And the next audit will be, we still have to pay the bills one more time this month. So we're going to run it as of the 19th, and then we need to run the checks on the 23rd. So you guys need to come in at some point and review them before the 23rd. That weekend or Monday by Monday. Be good. Okay. Okay. And motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay. Thanks again.